So while I was searching on YouTube, I happened to come across a video from Weaver Beats. In this video, he gives you a list of things that he wishes that he knew before he got started producing. We're gonna take a look at this video. I'm gonna break it down myself, and I'm gonna let you know if I agree or disagree. Let's jump right in.
So I'm gonna tell you guys 3 things I wish I knew when I started filming this video. 1, I look sweaty as shit. 2, my mic is making my shirt look like a V-neck. 3, I pointed the lights in a way that it makes it look like I either have A, spotted hair, or B, I'm missing chunks of my hair. But
Well, I
it's
see
gonna be
playing.
fucked up. Number 1, we have 25 keys is not enough for original compositions. I see a lot of people starting out with 25 key keyboards because they think since it's nice and compact that it'll be good for composing music. This may be true if you like to only play in I don't know, like C major or something, but if you like to play in different scales, then 25 keys is going to be very limiting for you. So I do not suggest getting a 25 key keyboard pretty much ever.
So I'm gonna jump in here. I disagree. Right off the bat, I disagree. If all you can afford is a 25 key, get you a 25 key. There's only 12 notes in the scale, right? 25 keys is going to give you 2 octaves. It's going to give you 2 octaves that you can jump around with. That's more than enough. And most 25 MIDI keyboards, most MIDI keyboards in general, have it where you can flip up an octave or down an octave, and you can do it that way. I think this is the bad advice here. Again, if this is all that you can afford, get it. Otherwise, you're going to spend more money on a 48 key, a 61 key, a 81 key, and you don't even know how to play the piano, right? So think about that. Think about that before you make that choice. Let's see what else he got.
Next up, we have there are more ways to make money from music than placements or selling beats. This can include doing things such as YouTube, mixing and mastering, ghost production, their shows, as well as merch, royalties, Twitch, selling beats to independent artists, studio musician work, sound design, music for video games and movies, selling drugs, selling your blood, plasma, organs.
All right, so he started playing with the drugs and plasma stuff. Don't do that. That ain't it. But he's absolutely right. There are multiple ways that you can make money as a music producer, whether it's again selling drum kits or any of those things. There's some things that he talked about as far as being a session musician. That's a whole nother skill set. And honestly, most session musicians are not standalone producers. But I don't want to harp on that part because he gave really good advice there. I agree. There are many ways to make money as a music producer. Understand the different avenues, figure out what you want to do first, then go down that pathway. Let's see what else he has.
Number 3, we have loops and presets aren't as bad as people tell you they are. What do I mean by this? Well, people say if you use loops, you're bad. If you use loops, you go to prison. I'm here to tell you that they're not actually that bad. Especially if you're starting out, it can be a good starting point for you. Also, there are actually ways to use them creatively.
So I don't think he really gave a stance on whether they were good or bad. As far as using loops and presets in general, I think they're fine. You have to know how to actually flip those loops, which that becomes more important. I think that's the part that he did touch on. There are multiple ways that you can manipulate a loop so that it doesn't sound the same as another producer. A lot of times what I've seen happening is that we'll grab a loop out of Splice, drag it and drop it in our session, add some drums, beat. You can't do that because that's what most beginners are doing, and they're almost tricking themselves into thinking that they're progressing or they're getting better as a musician or as a music producer, when in reality, you're just stacking sounds together. You almost become a music supervisor. It's a whole nother career field. So understand that loops and presets are perfectly fine. For me, when you use those loops and those presets, try to figure out how to break those down and how they made that loop. What instruments did they use to make that loop that drew you to it in the first place? The same with the preset. If you're looking for a specific vocal chain, it's okay to get it. But more importantly, understand how they made that vocal chain so that if you want to do something a little bit different moving forward, you know how to do so. Not bad. Let's jump back in.
Number 4, it's not a bad idea to focus on either sampling or original composition. Not that you can't do both if you want to. I actually started out doing both, but that's why I think I have a good grasp of why you shouldn't do this. So if you're sampling, you have to learn how to sample. You have to learn how to put music together in a way that sounds all right. That's already one feat in itself. It's not too hard of a feat in my opinion, but flipping it and whatnot can make it get more complicated later on. Now, original compositions, this is a big thing to chew off here. You have to know how to do some basic music theory, or you're gonna have to have a really good ear for what good music theory sounds like. which is not as easy as it sounds. In my opinion, it's good to focus on one or the other if possible, because you'll just narrow down how many things you have to learn. Because you're gonna have to learn how to drum, at least with your drum pads or whatever, or something, and then you're gonna have to learn how to do bass. There's just a lot of other things you're gonna have to do as well. So if you can keep the things you're gonna have to do total to a low number, that's good.
When you're exploring your musical journey, unless you already are a musician, and I mean like you know how to play the bass, you know how to play a guitar, piano, the cello, whatever, starting to compose original music is going to be tough out the gate. It's going to be tough, especially if you don't have any understanding of music theory or even care to understand any of those things like the circle of fifths or anything of that nature, major scale, minor scale, or whatever, right? Sampling is another beast within itself. He is correct. However, most people start off as sample-based producers when they use loops. Those are samples. Those are samples, right? So I suggest that you do start off with just loops, but then learn how to manipulate those loops to make them your own. That's going to be a lot easier than starting to play the piano and figuring out chord progressions and structures that way. That's going to take you a lot more work because it requires a lot more knowledge of music in general. Let's jump back in.
Number 5. If you don't know music theory, you're going to want to learn either music theory, or you're going to want to get a program like Scalar that can kind of assist you. I mean, you can go straight by ear, but it's going to be rough. Let me tell you, it's going to be rough. There's going to be like a solid portion of time where you're just making some really fucking bad music. People are going to be like, this sounds bad. And you're going to be like, fuck you, I put on what time to this. And you're just going to get in arguments with people. I'm just trying to save you all that right now. So just get Scalar.
I agree. Using plugins like Scalar or Captain plugins or any of those type of plugins that are going to give you the keys, and I'll kind of honestly give you automatic chord progressions where you can sort of fumble through and work through and learn how to use, that's definitely going to give you a leg up. Scalar 2 is king. Let's jump back in.
All right, number 6. This is an easy one. You don't need much gear to make music. I see some people just going crazy about like they need the craziest hardware. They need like all kinds of weird shit to make music, and I've never really understood that, because you can literally make music on a shitty laptop like this one right here. This laptop is like $400. You can make music on this. Not even very good, dude. Just this is all you need right here.
I 1000% agree. You don't need thousands of dollars worth of hardware that you then have to learn how to use to start producing music, or even good music. What you're going to find in your music journey is that if you start off with just the basics, laptop, keyboard, headphones, interface, you'll be golden. Once you learn how to use those things efficiently, then you can start to upgrade your gear. What I found out is that those individuals that start off out the gate just buying the biggest synthesizers that they can find, or the craziest MPCs or beat machines, or the most input, the 16 output input interfaces, that now they struggle with actually focusing on the music aspect and actually creating music, whether it's good or bad, because now they're having to learn all this different stuff at once, and it will become overwhelming, and you're going to spend more money than you need to. A lot of times we take these recommendations from other people on what gear they use or how they do it, but not understanding that there was a journey that they got that got them to where they're at now. Embrace that journey. Start off with the basics. Get your hands dirty, learn what you need to actually make the type of music that you want to make, and then proceed to buy hardware that makes sense for you. That was good advice.
All right, number 7, make music that you want to listen to. I try to make music that I like, and if I make music that I like, it seems that other people usually like it too, because they can relate to me. It's kind of like I scratch my own back, I know that it'll scratch other people's backs. Does that make sense?
I don't know about the last part about scratching the back thing, but he is right again. Your progression as a music producer will be so much faster if you make the music that you like to listen to. You'll be able to relate to it better. You'll be able to feel the music. It'll be so much easier for you to progress and even figure out the different chord progressions, the different types of drums, the different types of instruments or melodic instruments that are being used to create that sound that you love to listen to. Great advice.
Number 8. Don't expect your friends to like your music or support you. This may sound harsh, and you guys may be like, wait, hold on, wait, what? Well, let's break it down here. So these people are your friends, right? Are they your friends because of the music you make? No, this is just a new thing, right? They can support you, and that's nice, but you can't expect them to just support you just because you started making music. If your music sounds like complete shit, it actually might be nice of them to tell you that your music sounds like complete shit.
I also agree. I would also throw in family as well. It's a difference between supporting you, meaning that they get behind your decision to want to make music. There's a difference between that and actually listening and liking your music. Remember, you don't like all the music that everyone puts out. Beyonce's a huge artist. Not everyone likes Beyonce. Let that sink in. Just because you don't have people streaming your music like they do your favorite superstar, that's okay, right? Honestly, you want those people to give you their real feedback. And what I find is that most of us can't handle that. And we shut down and we stop making music altogether because nobody is supporting me. Just don't expect people to support you. It's good if they do, but also understanding that people support you the best way that they know how. It might be sharing your post. It might be liking your post. It might be saying that your music sucks because it might actually suck. There are different levels to support. Understand those and then move forward accordingly.
All right, number 9. There's a reason people usually only stick to one genre. And that's because people usually only listen to one genre. Or at least they have phases. There are some people that listen to a wide variety of music, and I think this is a bit more uncommon, at least from my perspective.
I agree and disagree. I think that when you're starting to produce, definitely stick with the genre that you feel you have the strongest opportunity to produce. And usually there's going to be a genre that you like. We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. Most people go through phases. You might listen to hip hop one day, you might have an R&B day, you might listen to pop music, and one day you might listen to cinematic trailer music. Everybody's a little bit different. So I agree and disagree in that light.
All right, number 10. You can burn yourself out. It may not seem easy, but it's definitely possible. I'm gonna give you guys a quick story. So when I first started making music a little over 10 years ago, I would like make music every single day. I would be trying to make new shit all day, every day for like at least a few years. And like I had fun for most of the time, but at some point it kind of just became meaningless to me. It's hard to explain, but like if you do something every day, you don't really get the pleasure out of it as much as you used to.
So I disagree on this one. What you have to do, and we talked about it, you have to find a goal. Define what you want to do as a music producer first. Once you have that clear idea, that clear destination of where you want to go and how you want to get there, everything starts to fall in line. Again, if you want to make beats to sell on BeatStars, that's your direction. Your motivation every day is to create music that you're going to eventually sell. If your goal is to have music on film and TV, that's a clear direction. Now you're going to have music that you know you want to make and have sent off to music libraries to then be placed in film and TV. If you're just making music just to make music without any clear defined goal, that's what'll get you burnt out. Now, if you're just making music as a hobby and this is just a fun thing for you, you're probably not watching this video and you definitely haven't gotten to this point. So I'm going to make a strong assumption that that's not what you're here for. Whatever that might be, you know what you want to do. All right, folks, let me know what you think of the response to Weaver Beats. I think he does a pretty decent job of covering different topics. And this video was when he first started his career. As I'm looking at it, this video was 2 years ago. So I'm positive that even his outlook has changed from the time that he made this video to now, seeing as the type of content that he posts on YouTube is more reactionary. So I think he did a really good job with covering the topics and tips on this particular video. Hopefully I was able to add my own spin to it and hopefully provide a little bit more context as to what I think you should actually focus on when you're first starting your music journey. If you like the video, you know what to do. Like and subscribe to the channel. Also leave a comment. I want to hear from you all. I want to hear, did this video actually help you? Was it engaging? Are there other things that you think can be added to this list? Do you disagree with my opinion? I want to hear all of it. If you already have a solid idea of what you want to do with music production, take a look at this video right here. It's going to be a playlist that I put together that's going to help give you the list of tools that you can use to elevate your game. All right, everybody. Peace.